digital business. Now, students, let me clarify one thing. As far as this course is considered, this subject is considered, okay. Like we have the theories, the concept, maybe we can say molded in particular molds. That's not the case here. Here it is much of the, what we can say, open type as far as the syllabus is considered. Whatever is relevant, what you feel is relevant should be considered for your study material. Now here, just if you take the topic of e-commerce, okay, it's a very broad area, broad scope. E-commerce has penetrated everywhere. We finished with this digital communities, no, yesterday. Today we will start with the e-commerce, okay. E-commerce has penetrated everywhere into our life. Now here, if we take into the shopping area, the groceries, any of the FMCG goods, the pharmaceuticals, B2B business, service sector like banking, insurance, postal services, when we go to the public domain. So here, if we take the spectrum of this e-commerce, it's very much broader. So here, what is e-commerce? The objectives of e-commerce, the advantages, the disadvantages would be fine. But when it comes to the practical aspects, okay, it is very much of, it has a wider scope. I mean, you cannot confine or restrict it to a particular field of business. So here we say e-commerce has been integrating the different components of the digital ecosystem today. So here e-commerce has facilitated the people to come together. Now here, if we see the e-commerce is basically a software which enables businesses to sell the products or the services online. Not only the services, the products, but the information, the ideas, the concepts. It helps in moving ahead with the B2B concept, business to business. This e-commerce provides the customer-facing front-end component of an online business. Now, online business like all other businesses need additional softwares to manage backend functions. What are the backend functions now in a business? Anybody? Are there backend functions? Yes. Like order management. Placing order, I said it's a front end, but at the back, the inventory management is important. The order management is there. The accounting systems are there. The customer service is there, which are on a continuous basis upgraded. It is a continuous task. Now with the infrastructure which integrates these business applications and the data that feeds them, it is possible to create personalized or more engaging personal online experiences for the customers. If you consider India, it has transformed the way the business is progressing. The Indian e-commerce market is expected to grow to $200 billion by 2026. Now, much of this growth has been triggered due to penetration or increase in the internet and smartphone penetration in India. Now, as of 2020 was there, the figures which I have, the internet connections in India significantly increased to 760 million, driven by the Digital India program. Now, total internet connections were 61% in urban areas, of which 97% connections were wireless. Now we are with the launch of 4G, we are moving towards 5G also, 5G network. The online retail sales. The online retail sales in India is growing, led by this e-commerce giants like Amazon, Flipkart. Now the smartphone shipments in India increased by 8% to reach more than 50 million units in the first quarter of this year. Now, basically, when I say it's a internet based transaction, where all it has penetrated, it has penetrated with reference to four types of businesses here. In general, we are speaking, that is business to business, business to customers, customers to customers, and customers to business. So these are the aspects of this e-commerce. Now coming to the advantages of this e-commerce, we take into consideration the advantage of this e-commerce. Now here today we can think of buying anywhere from the global market. Today it has become a global market. Because of the expenditure cut on the intermediaries or the advertising part, the promotional part, today the customer gets the product at the lower cost than which you would have in terms of traditional marketing, where you would have visited physically the retail outlet and purchased. Now here one can think of ordering 24/7. That is, there is no time limit of shop closing. Irrespective of time, anybody can order the goods anytime. One has direct contact with the companies here. Maybe if there are some issues, some problems, they get sorted by the customer care departments. Here, there is more engagement of the customer. With the more engagement of the customer, the companies, they are successful in tracing the customers. This ultimately gives rise to large pool of data or maintenance of data. Now, as the internet is penetrating or the market for the handsets is growing, the mobile handsets, the smartphones, the reach is much high. Today, if you see in the Indian population, the composition of youngsters is at a high level as compared to the other age groups. That's why through this e-commerce medium, through businesses, through social media, it is possible to reach the target segment within no time. As the customer gets engaged, it quickly spreads the word of mouth publicity to others also. Today we have the social marketing websites, the Facebook, the Instagram, the Pinterest. So all of them in one way or the other enter the zone of networking. Networking or relationship building is one of the important foundations for any business. Now coming on to the, as a coin has two sides, similarly here also, the disadvantage is that the setup cost is high initially. Initially, one has to take into consideration the infrastructure, what all is required, the softwares are to be purchased to keep a track of customers, especially in case of order management and process management. 2 3 years back, Amazon faced a problem as far as the uh, order part was considered, order booking. Many of the customers, they used to get the products which they did not order. So here, to make this more effective, the system more effective, Amazon outsourced the entire processing part to the third party, which again increased the cost. When you are tying up, that means you are giving the share of your business to somebody else. But the things also should be manageable since there is potential market as far as this digital business is considered. There is a risk of failure. Now, when we say it's a startup business, it's a new business, okay, then there is a risk because the business should be manageable as well as it requires the support of technology here. Then it's a virtual world. Many people still, they are not that much convenient as far as the virtual purchasing or e-commerce buying is considered. There is a first thing, there is fear about the product what they will get, because somewhere what we see as a pictures or as a videos, we perceive some things, and if we receive the product which does not meet the expectations, then there is a problem. The customer will not be happy, they will not be content. That is one thing. Second thing, coming to the payments part, it becomes risky. Many of the customers still they are not confident about the electronic systems of payments. Using debit card or credit card online, they are not that much comfortable. And here again, satisfaction of customer many a times becomes a complex job for the organizations. Now today we are into the global village, that is national and international marketers are directly in our contact with the contact of the customer. Maybe you are anywhere in the globe, you can order the products. They can sell the products in any countries by means of the websites. And there is no role of the local companies or large investments are necessary anymore here. Now this e-commerce has also revolutionized the way the clients used to buy the goods. Now many reputed manufacturers like Ford Motors offer customized choices. Even Dell computers go for customization. So here these are some of the pros and cons as far as the electronic commerce is considered. Now here e-commerce is any form of business transactions which interact electronically, maybe in form of goods, maybe in form of information. Now, if you see, you need any information, you just go to Google and you type the words. You try to browse on the internet. You try to seek some information. You try to look out for the information. Through these browsing histories, many of the electronic shopping platforms, they come to know about the customer details also, because uh, the login details are essential here. And then the mail starts popping up. Now here, this doing business online or carrying the business online also sets certain challenges as far as the backend mechanism is considered. Getting the orders from the customer is an easy task, but managing the orders, procuring the material, maintaining the accounting part, and integrating it with the other channels becomes a bit tedious task. So here, this online business is also alternative sales channel. Now, many of the manufacturers or the companies, they have adopted the traditional means also and the electronic mode also. That is, they integrate both the channels. That is, they follow the omni-channel marketing here to reach the end customers. Now, e-commerce is flexible also. Flexible in terms of time zones, flexible in terms of technology. That is customization. There is no rigidness about any aspect here. Now, the e-commerce in India, these are just the landmarks. Okay, it's entered in 1990s as far as the e-commerce penetration is considered. Okay, and it took up to 1997 when it entered through the online job portals, and then it started penetrating more when the youngsters started searching for the jobs through these online job portals. Like we had the monster.com, naukri.com. So here they were introduced. Nasacom itself, it was introduced in 1998. Now the first online departmental store was FabMart. And as I had discussed in the previous session, in 2002, it was introduced into the public sector, IRCTC, and Air Deccan also. So here, when this e-commerce enters into a public domain, public services, there is no say for the customers, but they have to adjust and adapt to the systems. And it took very long for the social networking sites to get more popular. In maybe 2010, there was more initiation of the social networking sites. Now, what were the factors which were responsible for the increase in penetration of e-commerce? Now, here after 1990s, we all know that because of the globalization and privatization, the government allowed FDI in many sectors, foreign direct investments in many sectors, which boosted the production as well as the services part and boosted the economy. So when there is the foreign direct investment in the services like insurance, like tours and travels, hospitality business, the MNCs started entering India. Okay, which give an impetus as far as the employment generation is considered. Once the rate of employment increased, the purchasing power parity of the people started rising. As far as the disposable income was considered, the people started spending more. That is one thing. Second thing is the increase in the broadband and internet penetration. Once the people started understanding the importance of internet, this started becoming customized to this part. Slowly and steadily, people started feeling that they don't have time. Their schedule is becoming so busy that they don't have time to make purchases physically, go choose something. No, better they thought we just order online. The online marketplace model was being accepted by the customers as well as the marketers. It was new for both of the parties, even for the suppliers. The online mode of purchasing, that is B2B business as well as B2C business. Now the government initiatives, like I said, that government took efforts as far as the FDI investments with reference to e-commerce was considered, which gave a boost to the economy. Unless and until government takes some decisions, the people are not pushed. The enterprise is not pushed. Now Flipkart partnered with Paytm for its annual Big Billion Days sale event, offering customers the convenience of making payments directly through the letters application with the bonus of receiving Paytm cashbacks over and above the Flipkart discounts. Similarly, Reliance Retail Ventures, a subsidiary of Reliance Industries, acquired a minority stake of Urban Ladder Home Decor Solutions to enter into this business and penetrate. Now here Amazon has also opened Made in India toy store in line with the government's Atmanirbhar Bharat vision. The store allows thousands of manufacturers and vendors to sell toys driven by Indian culture, folk tales and toys that promote creative thinking and are locally crafted and manufactured. So here even the CSR, okay, that is the corporate social responsibility, is also taken care of. Now here Amazon has been successful in the Indian market as it has collaborated with many of this and came up with the innovative ideas. Just now again, one of the examples. Okay, if you see during the Diwali, there was an ad where they used to focus that we uh, enhance the lives of rural India. If you remember, there was an ad where uh, there is some problem with reference to the fabric and all. Okay, and due to online and Amazon, they get the money. So here, this collaboration with the localites has boosted the Amazon business basically. The strategy has helped. Now, this government has identified 5 areas in its proposed national retail policy, like the ease of doing business, the rationalization of license process, digitization of retail, focus on the reforms, and open network for digital commerce. Even the consumer protection rules were notified by the Consumer Affairs Ministry, which directed e-commerce companies to display the country of origin alongside now under the Digital India movement, government launched various initiatives like Umang, Startup India portal, Bharat Interface for Money, that is BHIM, to boost digitization. Now, if you see, many of you, you go for the Google Pay and all, you will have this BHIM there, over there. The Minister of Commerce and Industry, Mr. Piyush Goyal, invited startups to register at Public Procurement Portal, GEM, and offer goods and services to government organizations and public sectors. And in order to increase the participation of foreign players in e-commerce, Indian government hiked the limit of FDI in e-commerce marketplace model up to 100%. That is in business to business model. Heavy investment made by the government in a network of 5G will ahead help boost the Indian e-commerce business, giving the impetus for the economy. Now, competition is one of the very important factors. Now, competition, if today it's an era of innovation and inculcating the technology in the business, or rather more business model, we can say. If an organization does not take the cognizance of the inclusion of new technology, then there is a problem. As far as their market share is considered, it is going to get affected. Okay. So here, the government initiatives, the entry of foreign players. Okay, now what happened? Because of the entry of foreign players and their adaptation to the quick e-commerce modeling into the business, initiated even the Indian players, those who are the Indian companies, they started facing competition from these foreign entrants and even gave impetus to improve their standards as far as the technology inclusion in business is considered. So here, the government initiatives, the foreign entry, boost of local companies, and of course, the customers' change in attitude and perception towards the e-commerce were the four important factors which took the e-commerce ahead. Now, any doubts up till here? So just now, I think I had discussed this. Now coming to the next part of e-commerce framework. Now, what all is included in the e-commerce framework? What are the components of this e-commerce framework? First and foremost is the people, as it is for the people. Now, who are these people? The people are the customers. It is for the society. Now, here, irrespective of any type of businesses you are, one business cannot be left out without people. There are employees working in the organization. The customers are the people where they have their own background. Now we, as a human being, are imbibed with our culture. We are grown with certain values and the cultural background. Now here, many a times the purchasing of the people or the consumers is shaped by the background. So here, people becomes one of the important aspects. The next is the public policy. That is the government policies. Now, the businesses are controlled by the government's rules and regulations. One cannot think of crossing the borders of it. You are bounded by the laws, rules, regulations. The next is the marketing and the advertising. Now here, one of the very important component of e-commerce framework is the marketing department and the advertising. That is, here we are speaking of the online portals. When you enter into any online platform, okay, you will find that first and foremostly on the home page, you will find a lot of pop-ups or very catchy pictures. Maybe it is with reference to the discounts, it is with reference to the new offerings. Just when you enter, you will find that there is something on the homepage to attract the customers, isn't it? There are also the support services which supports the e-commerce business. Now here, when we say they are the support services, they are the back end and the front end part of it, linkages to the businesses, e-commerce business. Now here, back end linkages are the procurement part, the suppliers supplying it, the goods should be supplied on time. Here the accounts department takes care of the billings. As far as the forward linkages is considered, movement of goods from manufacturer to customer. Okay. How the goods will reach, that is the supply chain part, becomes the component here in support services. Similarly, the digital payments is taken care of. There are also the business partners. Like just now I gave an example of Amazon, who has partnered with many of the firms, service providers. So even they become the component of a e-commerce framework. Now here, we consider the pharmaceutical medical products, okay, in that case, the warehouse of medical product where they are manufactured becomes the component. The warehouse where the organization or the company procures it becomes the framework. We are speaking of backend now as far as the pharmaceutical industry is considered. Now, when I say it's a pharmaceutical industry, depending upon the storage also, because some of the medicines, they require cold storage. So here, the company has to check about the storage facilities made available. That is, cold storehouses have to be maintained in the supply chain. At the similar time, on the front end, the order booking is there. Okay. The inquire, the availability should be maintained. Acknowledgement of the order and the bills. These are again sent to the procurement department where they place the orders. From there, it moves ahead to the packaging department. From the packaging department, it goes to these warehouses from where the shipment from this warehouse to the end customer takes place. The payments are received from the customers, which are acknowledged by the accounts department. When the goods reach to the customer, it is ensured that the customer gets the good what he has ordered and he is satisfied. Now this is taken care by the customer care department. So this is about the example of a framework of pharmaceutical industry. If you take against this the reservation systems, maybe airline tickets, okay, in that case, maybe there is a portal of travel agency. The customer logins the portal. The first thing which he does is he seeks the information, display of information. He places the order with the help of credit card or debit card. Now, it's the duty of the travel agency to, once he gets the payment, acknowledging the payments. Now this somewhere this travel agency has tied up with the credit card agencies or the banks from where they get a go ahead immediately due to this online internet communication today, and it proceeds further. So this is the framework for the reserving airline tickets. Now here, this model or this framework, it depends upon the type of businesses into which these enterprises are. Actually, what they are catering, whether they are catering the information, whether they are selling the books, whether they are selling the medicines, or tours and travel operators they are. So accordingly, they need to maintain the portal. Now coming to the framework part ahead. Now here, if you see, the framework also has the components like internet and network infrastructure, internet application infrastructure, the internet intermediaries, and the internet commerce. Now these frameworks, which we spoke in the first part, was with reference to generalized concept. And now when just have a look at this point, this is with reference to the technology part or the technical aspects component of the framework. Now here, this internet economy today includes both of the things, e-commerce and e-business. So there are various elements which are governing this online business today. Now, if you consider the first one, that is the internet and network infrastructure, this is facilitated by companies that provide enabling hardware, software, and networking devices for internet. That is, internet service providers are there. The fiber optic cable makers are included in this framework, this part. PC manufacturers are there. For example, providers such as Cisco, AT&T, AOL, etc. This layer, it also deals with the net framework, which establishes the connection in between the buyer and the supplier. Now, this is a very important thread which connects both the parties here. The internet lattice on which the internet works today is based on packet switching technique. Now, in this technique, the message is broken down into small packets, and every packet bears the address of its source and destination. In this way, the message enjoys a flexible and faster medium of communication. These packets are then assembled in order at the destination computer for ultimate delivery. So here we say these are the technical aspects of the e-commerce frameworks. The next is the internet application infrastructure. Now, when we say it's application infrastructure, it includes the design software, products for buyers, web interface with the sellers, which integrates the layer, enables the secure online transaction. Now, it comprises of IBM or Adobe or Oracle, TCS, etc. These companies provide web development design and consultancy services for different online businesses. Now, here the type of e-commerce is determined, basically depending upon the need of the companies, of the enterprises. Third is the internet intermediaries. It includes that the establishes link between the buyer and the seller by creating virtual markets where the online trading actually takes place. It interfaces the application layer to the users. Here comes the role of the catalogs and directory support services. The e-catalog has become inevitable for any business organization. While the interactive catalog deals with people, the directory catalog deals and interacts directly with software applications. Now here the examples are like travel agents like Travelocity or content aggregators like Yahoo and Google. They are the examples of such intermediaries. Similarly comes the part of internet commerce. Now here the companies that sell products or services are directly to the consumers and businesses. Like we have the companies, e-tailers like the Amazon, Dell, eBay. Now here major e-commerce business classifications come into picture. Like these are the e-commerce models we can see further. B2B, that is business to business commerce. B2C is business to consumer. Now here, if we see this B2B model, which focuses on providing products from one business to the others. Now here, right, it ranges from software companies, the office furniture, the supply companies, document hosting companies, numerous other businesses are linked together here. There is mass customization as far as the industrial buyers are considered here. On the portal itself, they specify the requirement of the clients, as the order would include the bulk purchase. So here the specifications are already mentioned on the portal. In this B2C sector, what is most people think of, they imagine an e-commerce business. Now this is the deepest market actually. Here there is lot of scope for the businesses, like we have the Staples marketer, Walmart, Reliance Industries, we have the Geo apps also now today, and Amazon of course, which directly connect to the customers. Now here B2B and B2C were the concepts which were there, but now today if you see, C2C has emerged up, that is customer to customer linkages have come up. Now despite the success of platforms like eBay, numerous other auction sites or classified sites have opened up. If we consider this C2C model, or we can say quicker, for the startups also, there is connection in between this C2C. Now coming to the next model is C2B. That is, yeah, Meesho is also there. C2B is consumer to business e-commerce. Now here this online commerce business is when the consumer sells goods and services to businesses and is roughly equivalent to sole proprietorship serving large businesses. Now here we can take, just now I gave an example of Amazon, okay, contacting the rural people, where the people take into consideration the Indian, the toys or the any of the products which are based on Indian tradition and cultures. Okay, they sell the products to this company, and through them we get the products, that is customers get the products. So here consumer to business commerce also, that is the reverse auction or service provision is mentioned. Now here, apart from this, if you see today we have the G2C also or B2G also. What is it? Government to customers and business to government also. Now, even government sector has not left out as far as the e-commerce penetration is considered. Now, many of you, while your admission process might have seeked your documents from the online portal, where the government gives you the options, okay, of getting the documents through the online portal. Today, if you see paying the income tax returns, the postal department, the Aadhaar card linkages, the electricity bills, all the public sectors which are under the government have penetrated, have inculcated the e-commerce. Today, there is no need for anybody to go and stand in the queue for paying the bills or getting the information as far as any private service is considered. It's easily possible through the internet, through the e-commerce mode. Now, emerging e-commerce platform. Let me just check. Do we have the time to complete this part? Now, here there are the emerging e-commerce platforms. Now, because of this penetration of internet, because of the businesses and competition, which has given an impetus for the e-commerce platforms. The first and foremost is the information system platforms. Now here it contains the main customers facing elements like it consists the back-end office and operations. Now when I say it's an information system driven platform, that means it is related to core systems or ERP package which maintains the information with reference to customers or suppliers also. In case of B2B, the suppliers as well as the customers, and same is applicable for B2C, any platform if you say. Coming down to the customer experience platforms, it contains the main customer facing elements like the customer portals, citizen portals, the multi-channel commerce options, or the customer apps, which are designed from the customer's perspective. Now today, if you see, many mobile apps are also available. And the company also provides you the information regarding the usage of these apps. They send you the videos also to facilitate the process part. Now, data and analytics platform is also there, which contains the information management and analytical capabilities. Now, data management programs and analytical applications are data driven. They are with reference to decision making and algorithms. So we say it deals with entirely the technical aspect of e-commerce. Internet of Things platform, which connects the physical assets for monitoring, optimization, control, and monetization. Now here it includes the issues of connectivity, analytics, and integration with the core systems. Today it's an era of Internet of Things. Everywhere we find this. Most of us, for us, this will be the future. Maybe it is there ahead in our syllabus, we'll discuss there. So this is the emerging platform today. The next is the ecosystems platform, which supports the creation of and connection to external ecosystems. That is the marketplaces and the communities, the API management, the control and security, which are the main elements of the ecosystem platform. Now in the next session, we will discuss about the marketplace and the market space, what exactly it is. Today, we will stop here. Any doubts? Okay, so we will stop here today.